get unstuck, feel unstoppable. Okay, when you feel stuck, it is the most miserable feeling in the world. It is frustrating, difficult, the list goes on and on. But I'm gonna tell you just right up front what's going on. It's not location, okay? So if you feel like you're stuck in your department, you're stuck in your job, you're stuck in your apartment, you're stuck in your city, you're stuck in that organization, it's not about location, it's about your vocation. Because you and I were wired to do meaningful work. And when we feel like our work is useless, that it's expired, that the spark is gone, the sun has set, we begin to get frustrated. Leaders who don't have anything to run with will feel useless. It's actually not, I'm so burned out because I'm overworking myself. There may be a contributing factor to that, but honestly, the root issue of burnout is that you're not really running with anything anymore. The work is done, the project's over, the team has dispersed, there's something that's changed that's messed with the fun that you had for a time. And so here's what I want to say specifically to ministry and business leaders that are faith-centered and that really want to give their life for a mission that matters. When leaders are given a fresh spark from the Lord, they are instantly ready to run again. And that's no exaggeration. I mean, literally, you can be tired, worn out, hurt, betrayed, sabotaged, and you can literally get healed up and equipped, sent right back out when you have that fresh spark from the Lord. I'm going to use a simple case study. Look at the life of the Apostle Peter, right? The other Peter. And he was at the lowest point of his life. He was the one who said, I'll never turn my back on you, Lord. I'll never betray you. And he betrayed the Lord in front of him. I mean, it was the biggest sign of cowardice. And yet, within less than 2 months, he's already been turned around, restored, recommissioned, repurposed, and he's the boldest one in the room again. You know, he's got his spark back. And so I really think it's possible to not just retire from a good run, but to retire your wheels, get some new tires on your wheels, and let's keep going, because we need more leaders in the field, more leaders on the front line than ever before. I'm blown away by this idea, specifically looking at this case study, but also many, many other stories, probably some of your own stories. Let me know if this is relevant to you. Tell me if this story has happened for you as well. In one commissioning moment with the Lord, leaders can go from feeling stuck to becoming unstoppable. Sometimes it's overnight, sometimes it's over a season, but it really does just come down to that. Do you know what you're running towards? Do you know what you're running with? Honestly, there are times where you're still waiting on it, and that's okay. You're working on other parts of your life. You're growing other areas of your character. You're thinking about other things like key relationships and what you're going to need to be sustainable for future seasons. So I'm not discounting you to say, oh, you have to know what you're running with or else you're losing. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when you know what you're running after and what you're running with, then it's just amazing how the lethargy goes away. I'm convinced that new fields are not about location only, although they definitely can include that. It's initially about your vocation. And I love this language. They're leading in the field of medicine, the field of sports, the field of technology, the field of business. We may not use that language all the time, but it is really insightful. You were meant to show up as a leader in your field. Now, a lot of people just don't know what their field is. They don't know how to find their field or how to show up in their field at the leadership level. They're kind of lost in their own work life, and they're still workshopping in the wilderness, so to speak. But eventually you come out of that wilderness workshop and you become a leader for your field. And that's what I'm committed to. That really is my why. That's my mission. That's the work I get to run with, which is preparing ministry and business leaders for new fields. I help ministry and business leaders find more of themselves to give, so that way they're prepared to expand every area that they care about into new fields. And if that resonates with you, just go to peterbirchfield.com and let's get to work. I've got a community that you can be a part of that is very accessible. I also do coaching for ministry and business leaders, and then also event trainings with teams. So, you don't have to stay stuck. And it's not about where you are. It really is about where you're going. And the moment you get that spark, that click, that jump, whatever you want to call it, you'll be shocked to see how the energy just comes right back into your work week. And the excitement and the fire comes right back. And it's because you know what you're running towards. You have something to run with. I'll finish with this. Jesus said, look at the fields. Look out. Look at all these fields that are out here. They're ripe. They're ready. Another way to say it is that the fields are bright. They're bright. And what I want to highlight there is when the sunrise marks a new day, the sun is rising over these fields. The fields become shining with opportunity and urgency. If you want this fresh spark, you don't want to stay stuck anymore, you want real clarity, real energy for the work again, are you willing to sunset projects? Are you willing to sunset, to honorably, finish really large scale operations in order to be ready internally and practically for the sunrise moments that are now happening in these new fields? That's my hope for you, because we need more ministry and business leaders to stay encouraged, to stay engaged, because leadership has, I think, never mattered more right now. I mean, when things are so uncertain, how are we going to navigate the disruptions ahead? We're going to need reliable leaders that are commissioned, they're equipped to be a guide, to take people to the brave, bright future. Now, this is not the same as pruning. Pruning just means you're cutting back, you're cutting off to increase fruitfulness. Right? You want to make improvements. You want to do things better. You want to knock off the non-essentials. When we're talking about sunset, we're meaning that, hey, I've been stuck in this, vocation for a while, this work that I've been giving my time and energy to, and now I'm going to start working in a new field, a new work, a new project, a new cause, a new community, a new endeavor. So this is more like, that metaphor and that calling. When you put your hand to the plow, don't look back. Don't look back. Now, the plow was used for new undeveloped fields, whereas the harvest work required different kinds of tools, different kinds of teaming. But having said that, the commitment level is the same. We're talking about working in a field of ministry, field of business, field of leadership. When you really own the opportunity to a specific field, it requires you to go all in. It requires you to have a strategic reason, and you go all in for a specific season. I really appreciate you listening along. Subscribe, like, leave a comment. It helps me better understand this community and what you're feeling, what you're facing, so we can keep growing together. And then for sure, go to peterbirchfield.com so you can get free trainings for yourself and your team. And you can also learn more about my community for ministry and business leaders who want to make uncharted progress in every direction of your life. It's not a myth, it is a part of your mission to grow into that multifaceted leader that is able to expand your capacity and really get into these new fields. Remember, the future has so many new fields waiting on you, so prepare to go there.